Hello, hope you're enjoying your Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And not just enjoying it, but using it as a day of service, as you know Dr. King would have wanted. He is one of my favorites. Today, January 20th, is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And this holiday is observed every third Monday of January. So it's just ironic that today is the inauguration day as well. But my focus is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. because he was a man of peace, and so much so that he was recognized in 1964 for a Nobel Peace Prize for his work in the civil rights movement. All of that was before my time, but it was before a lot of our times. But if it wasn't for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who knows where any of us would be right now as Black Americans, African American. We don't know. I mean, I can't even imagine where we would be without this amazing man. So let's honor him today, honor his memory, and get out there and do a little service. Even if you volunteer at a homeless shelter, volunteer at even a nursing home or a church or wherever, just make it a day of service, because that's technically what the day is. The holiday is actually is designated as a national day of service to encourage all Americans to volunteer and to improve their communities, which of course, like I said, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. would have won. Martin Luther King Jr. was actually born January 15th, 1929. And what a life he lived. I have some very interesting facts here. It says when he was actually born, his name was Michael King Jr. His father was a powerful pastor in Atlanta. His father named him after the 16th century Protestant reformer, Martin Luther. His father was so moved by this Protestant reformer that he changed his name and his son's name to Martin Luther King when he returned home. So I guess Martin Luther King Jr. was named after his dad. It was named Michael, but then his dad was so impressed by this Protestant reformer that he changed his name and his son's name to Martin. A little known fact that Dr. King was 15 years old when he started college. I think I knew that. When I remember hearing he was about 15 or 16, and I was like, wow, he must have been a genius, which of course now we know that he was. Says he did so well in high school that he skipped 2 grades. He skipped the 9th grade and the 12th grade before enrolling in Morehouse College in 1944 at the age of 15. Wow, that's impressive. It says here there was an earlier assassination attempt on his life, which we don't even like to talk about that, but we know how the story ends, and that he actually went to jail nearly 30 times, most often because of the acts of civil disobedience. And he spent 11 days in Birmingham, Alabama jail after being arrested for demonstration. And I'm sure all the times he was arrested, it looks like it was because of getting into good trouble. Former civil leader used to say, because he was taking the first step of bringing about a new era of human rights in 1967. And he announced the launch of the Poor People's Campaign in an effort to unite the poor of every race and creed. It was the last campaign he would ever lead. Bless his heart. And I did know this, that the FBI monitored him for many years. I actually saw a documentary on that, how they would, follow him and tap his phone and all kinds of stuff. He's one of 2 Americans to have his birthday celebrated as a national holiday. And the other American was George Washington. President Ronald Reagan signed a bill that created a federal holiday to honor Dr. King in 1983. Well, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that President Ronald Reagan signed that bill. That's interesting. Yeah, so Martin Luther King Jr. Day is celebrated on the 3rd Monday in January, close to his January 15th birthday, which we all knew about his birthday. So anyway, those are some nice little fun facts about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. But like I said, let's spend this day of service. Serve in some kind of way. I don't know. Get creative. Maybe you can go out and help somebody carry groceries or something. I don't know. Just if you could think of something to do with that would be great. Go to a nursing home, go wherever. Well, and if you're working, if you're a nurse, you're already serving. Some of us work in hospitals, some of us work in nursing homes. So wherever you're working, be of service. And enjoy the day and just kind of relax and reflect on everything that Dr. Martin Luther King stood for. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. stood for. A man of peace and love and honor of his fellow man, regardless of his race or creed or religion. He was amazing. I remember we went to visit his home in Atlanta, Georgia. Yeah, it was very impressive. They showed where his wife, Coretta Scott King, was buried, and then also him. It was very nice, the museum that they have set up there. So if you're ever in Atlanta, Georgia, check it out. It's very, very impressive, and I don't know, it's a great way to honor him. Enjoy your day and have it as a day of peace and honor and love. Take care.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.